Hey, what's going on, y'all? Howdy, howdy. Howdy, y'all. Alright, this is another Transformer review, but this is what I like to call Then and Now. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Ultra Magnus, the 1980s, and Colton's going to be helping me, and what's his?
That's from the Combiner Wars line from 2015.
So from 1986, 85 to what'd you say? 2000 and what?
2015.
Thank you. 2015.
Combiner Wars.
Combiner Wars. You can see what has taken place and what has been upgraded, shifted, and definitely remolded and designed.
But the differences is that this one's all how he looks like in the G1 cartoon, but this one here is more of an IDW comic book design. And there is the Siege version, and there's also like another version which is I don't know if it's from like the Earthrise or well, I'm gonna say it is from the Earthrise or one of the other War for Cybertron trilogies, but those two figures for the Siege version, his vehicle mode is a lot more like, well, it is just like the original G1 toy, but it's a more Cybertronian look to it. And also either the Earthrise version or just the War for Cybertron trilogy figure is a more Earth style, which is exactly like that one.
Like the G1. So we're going to be taking a look at a couple of things that makes both of these different in era and generation. So this was 1980s. This is what we got. It's more or less a brick with some articulation. Where today there's more articulation. But at that time, like I said, I don't think that the technology was quite there yet. Because if we had this in 1980s, oh yeah, it'd be a lot different today as far as Transformers. But this is all we had, so we made do with it. And this is my guy right here. This is Ultra Magnus. This is Ultra Magnus. Now, as far as the hands, you can actually open up the hands. Go ahead and open up his hand.
On the Combiner Wars version. And if you remember, I did do a review of this figure.
Right, he did. And so this is the hand that you can... Now, as far as 1980s hands on the G1, this is pretty much all we got was just kind of
a wrist swivel.
Yes, because it's one of Peggy and Fist. So that was about as good as you got in 1980s as far as holding something with the hole in the hand, and his fist can spin on a peg.
Also, another difference is the shoulder rockets here are also really different. He only has one missile on him, whereas the Combiner Wars version has 2 of them.
Right. And these missiles never did really shoot because they took the springs out or something like that. So these missiles never did shoot. But there's a little lever up top that'll make the missile come out. I'm going to stand up right quick. And, oops. You would literally have to pull back the lever.
Which is...
Go ahead and let's just take that out. Just pull it right on out of his arm. There we go. Okay. To show y'all, you just put it in there.
And this is the little
lever.
Lever.
That should have a spring in it, but it doesn't. So, therefore, you have to pull back, and it would release the little clip in there, because without it, it's locked in. And that's what we did to see about it firing. Where on today's Ultra Magnus, you don't even have that option, because they are molded in plastic. At least this version is.
And I don't think that the one from the War for Cybertron trilogy line, which is Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom, I don't think that has that firing gimmick.
So, as far as more of the review, we're going to get in close. We are going to get in close to the head sculpt so y'all can see the difference in the head sculpts. So this one here in 1980s, as y'all know, as far as Ultra Magnus, and I just untabbed him. Well, we're just going to pull him out because he is old. So anyway, hey, check this out. There he is. So that right there is pretty much his head sculpt. Let's see if we can get a little bit better view of the head sculpt. I know it's a little bit tough to do. Oh, we almost had it. And then, okay, just hold him still. You got him?
Yes.
And then that is what we had to do for Ultra Magnus. And they have hollow eyes. It's be kind of hard to see, but his eyes are hollow. There you go. Let me get Optimus Prime out the way. The ghost of Optimus Prime. So Colton right now is sticking his finger in. There we go. There we go. See those holes right there?
Those are his eyes.
Yes. And what you had to do to make his eyes is, there's Optimus Prime's head. And then you put that right over his head. I'm going to pull this out the way right quick. I'm going to let Colton take a look at the head sculpt on this one.
Whereas the Combiner Wars version, it doesn't have that white Optimus Prime
figure.
But if you want this to be more like the original G1 toy, then third party did put out a white Optimus Prime figure, and it's from Perfect Effects, where they did put out a little white Optimus Prime figure that can transform into the robot and the cab mode to incorporate with the Combiner Wars version. If you want him to look more like the original G1 toy.
G1 Ultra Magnus.
And also, you will also notice that this one has blue and silver on the Combiner Wars version, whereas that one is just all blue plastic. But there is some other copies of the original G1 Ultra Magnus where the antennas and the face are silver.
Right, and I know what he's talking about, because originally when I bought this one, I didn't get that copy. I didn't get that. This is what I got when I bought them. It was all blue. Now, what Colton is saying is that there's other ones out there that have silver paint on the antennas and silver paint in the face, like this one here. When I bought mine, this is exactly how it looked. Nothing's been changed and nothing's been done.
Is this like a widespread thing, or did all of the copies of the original Ultra Magnus was just all...
I don't know. I cannot tell you. I do not know. When I bought this, I knew who he was. I knew what it was about. I remember, and I had the money. I think when I bought him, I think it was close to $20, and that was a lot at the time, you know, compared to today, where $20 is like nothing. But back in the 1980s, man, if you got 20, you know, now don't get me wrong, I had to work for the 20. But like I said, we had a toy store in the mall, and that's where I went. And when I seen him, I said I got to pick him up, and I did. And that's how I got to have my Ultra Magnus.
But I know the reissue version of the G1 Ultra Magnus did have some silver paint on the face and silver for the antennas, which is accurate to the
cartoon. Yeah. Yep.
But this is not the reissue. This is the original.
Yes, I don't. Like I said, right. That is an original. That's why I got to be very careful when I handle him, because he's, I don't know, you know, since 1980s till now. Anyway, as old as me. Anyway, I'm a little bit older. Well, anyway, not going there. So anyway, so this is today. This is yesterday. Not yesterday, 1980s. That was our Ultra Magnus.
Years ago.
Yes, years ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to transform some of this on and off camera right quick. We're going to see how the truck trailer mode handles and stands up today from a then and now. So we're going to be right back. Now we're back. And y'all, I just wanted to see and do a little comparison, transforming time-wise. When we got off of camera, it took my son longer to transform him than what it took me to transform my G1 Ultra Magnus.
Well, this one still did not take too long to transform.
No, I say we was only out. We paused it and it was only like a 2 minutes maybe at the most. But I still have mine all transformed right here on the table where he was still transforming his. Now I know exactly what to do with him. And Colton knows what to do with him, but it was just a little bit more involved transforming him, where this one wasn't nearly as involved. It was very simple. That's my opinion. Now, Colton may tell you something different. Go ahead, Colton. Is there something you want to say? Now, I'm not gonna say anything because he does look good.
But it is a more modernized Ultra Magnus, because like I said, this Ultra Magnus is based off his IDW Transformers comics.
And as y'all can see, they're still both carriers. They carry vehicles.
Oh, and one more thing. This one, well, like I already told you, that this one did not take too long for me to transform. It was still simple and easy, but there is a little bit of
Kibble?
no. There is a little bit of things that are a little bit fiddly to do.
Okay.
And like you can already see, we got some of the G1 Protectabots here, which is Streetwise and First Aid on both Ultra Magnuses.
And speaking of Streetwise, this is just straight off of the subject, but I have a question for y'all. When y'all got a Streetwise from wherever y'all got it from, how long did it take for y'all to leave the hood on before it just disappeared? Because I don't know why, but all my Streetwises have no hoods. They have no hoods. They just disappear. I don't know where they go, where they disappear to, but all of my Streetwises are pretty much hoodless. Be it knockoff, secondhand, original, you name it, they just get gone. They come up missing and I don't know where they go. So I just didn't know if anybody else out there had that same problem.
And the hood, if it was on here, it does move on to 2 hinge joints. This joint here, which is this hinge joint, and if the hood was attached to here, it would move on the joint from...
Yeah, the like pins.
No.
Molded pins.
The they're not pins.
Okay.
They're just like,
Knobs?
well, it just clips onto these two little dots here, which will move up and down. And the hood does attach to these holes, which are his hands in robot mode.
So, okay, we're going to get back off into Ultra Magnus. Like I said, Colton stays on task. Me, I just run everywhere, like a madman. But anyway, getting back to Ultra Magnus, are then and now. So, Colton, what do you like about today's Ultra Magnus compared to the 1980s Ultra Magnus? What are the pros and cons that you like of both of them?
Well, obviously I do like the new
Updated version? You can say it. It's alright. Just say, Dad, your stuff's old. Go ahead.
I wasn't about to say that.
It's okay. It's old, but that's what we remember, and that's how all this became to be where it is now, is because of this.
But what I was about to say is, I do like the new articulations that's added to the new one compared to the original one. And the original one that does still look great for all these years. And it still looks like how it does in the cartoon. But this one's going for a more IDW look.
Yes, the cab integrates itself into the chest, where this one here, you have to separate it and pull it apart, then transform the trailer, then transform him and put him into the body, where this one is part of the body.
But if you want the cab here to transform into the little white Optimus Prime like this one does, then Perfect Effect, which is a third-party company, does sell that. So you can incorporate the transforming white Optimus to the Combiner Wars version to match the original G1 toy.
Now, see, I didn't know that. You just taught me something I didn't know. So, as far as my opinion is, excellent articulation. Excellent articulation compared to our brick. But I love my brick. So, because that's G1. Like I said, he would not exist without him. He led the way first. Then come him. Just more modernized, updated version compared to what we have. So, and of course, before we go, I got to show this. How many of y'all have actually done this? Whoops. How many of y'all have actually done that?
Where you take the G1's chest and the G1's head and attach them together using...
Go ahead.
Using this hole on his forehead to this little tab. And you attach it to make like a little
racer, I guess. Racer spaceship that a little guy can sit in. Because right there's the seat. Let me go ahead and get his head out the way. Right there, if you look at it, there's actually molded in like seat right there, where a little guy can actually fit down in there, and he'd be like a speeder. I just didn't know if any of y'all actually caught on to that, or who actually done it. I thought it was kind of neat at the time, because then you got some twin barrels up top and a speeder at the same time. Anyway.
And I just noticed something on the original G1 cab here, which is the Optimus. Is he like a little bit yellowed? Like,
yes. He's a little bit yellowed, yes. He was white. He was white, like this kind of white, in 1980s. But you gotta think of how much that little dude's been through. So, he's got some wear and tear and some years on him. Some crashes, mashes, and bashes. Like me. Anyway. And still going. So anyway. So, Colton, is anything you want to say before we start wrapping up?
I think that's about it.
I'm going to let Colton take us out of here, but I just want to say thank y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Until next time, Colton, take us out of here.
If you like this video, give us a like, comment, and subscribe for more. And if you want to check out some other videos you may have missed, there is a playlist on my YouTube channel for any videos you may have missed. And it's all organized. So I think that's about it. So thanks for watching.
Bye, y'all.